Hey guys, this is going to be a tutorial on blueprint interfaces. So today we're going to make a spike box or hit box that's going to destroy the targets, but it's going to not use any casting. So blueprints, we're going to make a blueprint, go to actor, call this BP spike. We're going to add a box collision, same as in the casting tutorial, and a cube for a visual of where the hit box is going to be. And yep. Okay, so we've set up the spike. We're going to put it here, make it big so you can sort of see where it's going to go. Right? Then we're going to right click, go to blueprints, blueprint interface. We're going to call this BP my first interface. Right? So what this interface is, it is a collection of functions that you can send out. You can call in any actor, but they won't always be received unless the blueprint is implemented. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So we're going to call this one, let's say, overlapped or destroy character. All right. And now if I go to BP spike and I go to event graph and I right click, I type in destroy character, I have this function. Unlike casting, where I had to get a reference to the class, here it is accessible to everyone to call, but it needs to know who it is messaging. So destroy character, who are we destroying? We will be destroying other actor. So on actor begin overlap, when we go inside this collision box, we are going to send a message out to this actor. And it's going to be, that's why it has a message symbol. It's going to be like telling them destroy, right? So let's test that out. If I play and I go in here, nothing happens. If I move the ball in there, nothing happens either. Why is that? Well, because just because this says destroy character or destroy actor, doesn't mean that when it talks to the other character, it'll know what it's talking about. You can think of interfaces as languages. One person could be talking to another person, but if the other person doesn't know the language, they won't understand the instructions. So what you can do is teach an actor or blueprint the language by having them implement the interface in their class settings. So we're going to make this ball I made. It's just a ball blueprint. It's a static mesh with simulated physics. We're going to go to its class settings, and then where it says interfaces, we're going to add BP my first interface. Okay? Now that we've done that, when we type in destroy character, you'll notice we have that's the wrong one, event destroy character. What this is the implementation of this interface that you now see here at the bottom left. If I delete this and compile, you can also right click and type in implement function, and it also gives you that. But basically what this means is that that's what this is doing. If this is shouting to it, destroy character, and this guy has implemented the function to do something, this is going to fire. In our case, we're going to do destroy actor. All right? So now that it knows the language and it knows what destroy character means from the spike blueprint, when I push the ball in there, it gets destroyed. However, you'll notice my character still doesn't do anything for him. Well, for my character, I don't want him to immediately go away. Let's say I want him to play a death animation and then disappear. Right? We won't do the animation part, but what we can do is use a delay. So in our third person character, right now he doesn't have the interface. We can go to class settings, add my first interface. And now you'll notice we have interfaces here. We can right click, implement. So now whenever something shouts to it, destroy character, when any actor doesn't need to implement the function like the spike, when any actor calls this message and tells it destroy character, it will do whatever is in here. So notice how BP spike doesn't have the interface, right? You don't need to give the interface to the objects calling. You do need to give it to the objects that will be able to receive it. But let's go back to our character. What we're going to do is destroy actor, right? But I want it to be after a couple seconds. So I'm going to do a delay. And then do 1 second delay, and then it's going to destroy the character. So now if we play, if I go in here, it's going to be 1 second, and then the character gets destroyed. What this means is that two different characters, so this ball, and our third person character can react completely different to the one same function being called. In our case, it's this destroy character blueprint interface function. So our ball and our character are reacting differently to the same message. Think of it like when you're talking to someone. Depending on how you say something or the context of it, they might interpret it differently. The function implementation is how those actors interpret the message once they are able to understand the language by implementing the interface like this in the class settings. So let's say I want to be able to control how long before it destroys the character. What you can do is go to your blueprint interface, have an input, type in time to destroy, call this float. So this is going to be a float, which is a number. And now what we can do is in our spike, you'll notice the destroy character now has a time to destroy value that you can give it. So we can set this to 2 seconds instead, or let's set it back to 1. And now in our third person character, notice how the event has the time to destroy. So we can plug this into here, and now whatever time that this actor tells it needs to wait before being destroyed, the character will wait this amount of time. So spike is controlling how long before the character gets destroyed, as opposed to the blueprint itself, which previously had a 1. So our character was telling itself how long before it can get destroyed. Now another actor is telling the character how long before it can get destroyed. Okay? So in a sense, you are using one function, and it is being used differently throughout all the actors. And as a summary, only the characters that need to understand and interpret the message need to implement the interface. Anything that's calling the message, such as spike, does not need to implement the interface. Once you make the interface function, such as in here, it's going to be accessible throughout all your actors. Right? And this is great because unlike casting, where you need to know the class is going to be exactly what you need it to be, this can be anything. So this will save you some this could save you some reference errors, because when this fires and the actor is not the class it needs to be or does not implement the function, it just does nothing. It's a silent function call. So this helps reduce some errors, but also makes it sort of loose. So you have to decide, do you want more rigid structure that you want to expect where the data is going, or do you want this more loose structure with more flexibility?